All right, you're live with the property doctor, K. John, the Bayou Trader, on the grind with political decode. Here we go.
Administration.
Well, once again today, Donald Trump backed down.
Once again today,
the man who always pretends.
He
He
never
never backs down.
Never.
Backed.
Guys, if we're just trying to get non-biased news, would you stop to think why this guy's being so facetious about, talking smack about Trump? He's like 5 seconds, 10 seconds into it, and he's like, seems like he's took 3 digs at Trump. This is someone who, if you have a smoke or drink, you'll accept his opinion, right? But you have to understand when they're giving you news or their opinions. And so that is why we are the Political Decode channel. We're just trying to, actually, we don't care about the news. I could catch the news on the TV myself. I'm here to decode and get you through the minutia, to let you know what they've been doing you. Let's go.
Down.
Big time.
Down big time.
That is true.
As our friend and colleague Lawrence O'Donnell puts it there. And you'll notice in that brief summary I just showed you how this week is playing. We included coverage and reaction from folks across different networks. This is not one of those things that splits into America's sometimes divided perspectives of what do you consume and what do you think and what do you watch. Are you going with your...
Let me catch you. Look, what the liberals do, what he's gonna pull the blanket over your eyes, is that he's gonna go to where a Fox station or a conservative station where there's one Republican, like when they have those votes and there's that one Republican that don't join the Republicans, Rand Paul, he's one of them. He does it all the time, and he's gonna tout that as, this is like a bipartisan thought process, that both parties don't like Trump. We know what the polling says different, but let's go.
Prior convictions, as they say. Nope, this is another week that actually, in reality, exposes the gap between Trump's talk, which of course is part of his thing. He knows how to talk. He knows how to command a room.
And look, I'm not fond of the market. I don't have much money in the markets right now. But I understand it's a process of countries have been tariffing you for years, and they've made their backyard the United States manufacturing hub. I get it. It ain't been easy. It's something for the Democrats to chew on, and it's definitely self-inflicted because Trump, he took care of the border in like 2 weeks. You know what I mean? So he's already did more than the last administration. They've only screwed things up. So now he's got this. But the thing is, he has a whole 3.5 years. And if he makes it a whole lot worse, like if he continues the trend the other administration continued and thinking that their ideas was golden and made it worse, Republicans are going to have hell to pay. But if he ends up being right, this is one of them things where you have to wait and see. Other countries are telling the United States, hey, we'll bring our tariffs down. Let's meet in the middle. Like they're negotiating. I read somewhere, it could be clickbait, China is going to reduce their tariffs by 125%. We'll see. I think it's way too early to get on this news just because you see the stock market. That stock market is an international stock market. China, they're moving their money around. They're trying to prop up their currency for the better good of their people. And what I mean by their people, I mean the regime, not the people, but let's get it right, the CCP. That's why they devalue their currency. Let's see what he's talking about.
Room. That's what made him a working reality TV host, and at times it made him effective at the campaigning part of politics, right?
This is you trying to book a...
We don't want to watch no stinky ads.
Unlike reality shows, this week's actual reality proves the gap between talk and action. The stock market continues to slide and move around, but ultimately be down about 9%, multiple trillions of dollars down because of Trump's tariff policy. White House has been trying to stem the bleeding, not by saying, hey, you're going to get...
How many of you actually look at stock charts and trade the stock markets? I would guess about 99% of you do not. This could mean a lot of things. This could represent the bottom, and this is where we're at now. This could be a sign that we're to go back up. And this right here, like what he took over it like this. This ain't good. This is like what you call stagnation, a correction, market going sideways. This is range. Look, the markets do three things. They go up, they go down,
get more
of what you got in the last 95.
But sometimes before they go up, they'll give what's called a fake out. They'll come fake you out, and then they'll shoot up. I'm just saying. I trade the stock market every morning. I know I have a channel for it, K. John, the Bayou Trader. Go check it out.
5 days.
Quite the opposite. A lot of White House aides are saying, we promise this is going to end soon. We're going to back down. Donald Trump's going to do less of whatever it is he's been doing on tariffs. Trump's also underwater in the public poll.
Look, he just said, we're going to back down. The White House never made such comment. So this is why he calls them fake news. Because they'll lazy report to get... They're not reported. So they'll lazy put out content. It's actually good content for them, right? It's just content. And that's really... We live in a space and age where young people, they're understanding about content. Don't have to be 100% correct. And the news have been creating content, but putting that Wizard of Oz curtain over people's head, before the internet age of like, this is what it is. This is the real deal. This is what's going on. And it's just content to suck people in. But people are now hip to it. Like, and there's other people like myself and others, maybe one day myself, right? Throw my hat in there, that create better content than the legacy medias. We'll hear what he has to say, but MSNBC they're just so out of touch.
And that's across multiple surveys. Pew, Reuters, Fox News, as we told you, there he is,
underwater by 11 points.
It's a steep and sudden slide from
bravado.
Wait. He's got so much false stuff. That's why I keep pausing it, because I'm political decoding here. He said underwater. I believe he has like a 44% approval rating right now, or 45%. And there's nobody in the Democrat Party with higher than a 29% approval rating. So underwater compared to who?
Of Donald Trump's
November win.
Remember,
he was crowing then about overcoming his past problems, which politically he did. He got more votes.
But the problems were also, remember, of his own making.
He provided enough criminal evidence to get himself indicted in 4 different cases, something that had...
He didn't provide criminal evidence. Y'all followed them cases? The one where they took like 2 misdemeanors and it was a state case, or it was a Fed case, but the states took it in their district with the Democrat judge. It was all something that, forget the crime, the process in which it was litigated and done had never been done before in the history of the United States. So to let y'all know, like, the judge even told him, there needs to be like 2 crimes, right? But you don't have to connect. It don't have to be this crime and that crime for him to be found guilty. He was like, you could take 5 different crimes over here and just mix and match and whatever you want for you. In the second jury, you can mix and match 2 different crimes, whatever you want. And if you go back and if you understand the case, which nobody really understands that case, but if you watch it and understand what the judge the details he was given, bruh, and that the judge's wife was a big time Democrat donor. You know, look, I used to be a Democrat. Um, you couldn't pay me to be a Democrat now. You know, forget anything about I wouldn't even advocate for Republicans. Just by like just advocating for them, hey, what you gonna do for me? What are you doing for nothing? You know what I mean? You gotta be for criminals, which I'm trying to get away. You know, we all trying to get away from past that ain't so bright. You know what I mean? I wasn't much of a criminal, but I was a knucklehead when in my younger days. And being a knucklehead didn't pay me, but the Democrats are like, "Hey, remain a knucklehead. We got your back." You know, like no, like if I do right, what are you gonna do for me? And and those of you who have made it and done right, that's when you'll see. That's when you'll see the light. Like they ain't got your back. You know, it sounds good. They're that guy, that emotional guy on the first date. They're gonna take care of you, let you know everything, hear everything you want. They want you to hear, right? But in a week or two, there's nowhere to be found. They ain't nowhere to be found when you really need help, you know, or when you got your shit together. They know they can't tell you nothing, so they don't want nothing to do with you. That's them.
It never
It never happened
to
to any
former
president
a single
a single time.
High bar
To do that.
Now,
He was legally presumed innocent. I told you that at the time, but he still provided that much evidence. And that usually is a negative. And he overcame that politically. So the headlines were blaring, you might remember, about his comeback
and how
it's
Trump's
America.
And that,
as you see,
is the New
York Times.
It signals
a different kind of country, we were told. That was just a couple months ago, y'all.
Well, what
a difference about 100 days makes.
Trump is on
defense now.
Elon Musk is
chasing,
openly
talking about pulling back from his
DC
job duties.
And now, today I can tell you,
Elon Musk had a 6-month deal with them. He's talking about pulling back because it was for 6 months, but he's framing it like Elon Musk is done with Trump. See, this is why I created this channel, for jackasses like this, because he's misleading from the very jump. He started talking and opening his mouth. He started being misleading. And this is why I do this. We all could have an opinion on what we think something is, and we can have different opinions. That ain't what this channel is for. This channel is to tell you how they're spinning it, and we're giving you the facts of why they're spinning now. You know, if I don't debate with no people who have their mind made up. You got your mind made up, that's fine. Live your best life. But if you really want to see how these people lie, tune in. Well, I'm a decode it.
Ancient phrase is circulating in Washington.
You might know it
from the classic 1958 novel, Things Fall Apart. Shout out Chinua Achebe.
You might know it
from the Roots album, which quoted that same novel, Things Fall Apart.
It's a phrase
that refers basically to circumstances that can seem permanent,
that are even
believed collectively to last forever, that we share. This is reality.
That people take
as kind of the framework of life, and then those things
can just fall
apart.
So you
kind of know the meaning already, even if I...
Yeah, I have a clue what the hell he's talking about. I don't. Somebody decode that.
I did the newscaster thing of maybe over-explaining it. You know what it means when things are a certain way, and we're told they're going to be that way, and then the things fall apart. And
he told you things would be wrapped up like a baby in a burrito and be so perfect. No, he never. Trump is one guy, he told you what he was going to do and he did it. And he's doing it. And he never said this whole thing with China was going to be like an overnight thing. Actually, he never even campaigned on this whole China situation, you know. I guess when he got in there, he realized, you know, hey, they're ripping us off. So
And while Trump
And while Trump has
benefited from people buying into his PR,
the spectacle to show.
And people do think he and Elon Musk and his whole political thing was big and resilient. The Washington Post, taking stock of another Trump Hell Week, is asking, cue the phrase, are things
falling apart for Trump?
The question's
more than fair.
Today,
right here you can see the president departing for the Pope's funeral.
That may offer him a break from
some of the chaos that he's been reckoning with.
If he's
traveling over there for the funeral, he won't be available to do another in-person meeting soon.
With CEOs
warning about empty shells coming to America from Trump's trade war, as he had to do earlier this week.
And that news
spilled out was bad headlines, we can tell you that.
He won't be around this weekend. It's more
signals and stories show that Elon Musk's
loud, quick
start is really melting into a quick retreat.
Both men,
Trump and Musk, say
that
Elon Musk's duties will continue to shrink.
And this comes after
Trump already narrowed Musk's role after that cabinet clash meeting. You might recall that was
one of the many big stories
the first 100 days.
This week,
Musk tried and failed. He was stopped
from installing
a loyalist inside the Treasury Department.
A kind of bureaucratic sign that on one hand is small, I would even argue boring, right?
It's just one little thing and one little agency, and yet it also says something that's important based on the boring evidence.
And I will tell it to you
simply.
Those Musk tactics, which did partially work, say, in February. Storming into the agencies, fire first, scare people, send them nasty emails,
people quit, litigating after.
Really, let's just take him on his word and say that's exactly what happened. The richest man in the world, right, signed up to be with Trump. Like, just Trump being in his presence is a blessing for Trump, right? But the richest man in the world signed up to go be with Trump, to storm into a building, fire people because, oh, I got power, which that's nothing compared to real power. He's already worked with NASA. Actually, NASA needed him to rescue astronauts. Y'all keep that in mind before y'all talking about he's meddling in the United States affairs. Like, you know, he created PayPal. He's been having millions of people's information. But no, he had to go in the United States government, right, where everybody knows what he's doing, right? And get your information for what? To make $2? Like, there's not enough money they could give him that he don't already have. Like, but this guy is here to convince you that he stormed in there, fired people without will. At least he could say, well, there was alleged corruption in USAID. There was money sent over here and over there. You know, $20 million for sex change operations in Egypt. Like, who are these people? Who's really collecting this money? But he don't want to talk about the semantics. He just wants to talk about people who I feel like are paid. And this is the problem with the Democrat Party. Like this guy, he can't get up here and just speak his mind. He probably don't even like Democrats. He's paid to speak a certain way. He's paid to do this. You see what I'm saying? So this is why they sound like freaking robots, and people who follow the Democrats sound like freaking robots, is because they don't understand that the people putting this stuff in their head, they have to sound like a freaking robot because they're not allowed to even be human and really say what they think. They're paid to speak this agenda. It's U.S. propaganda. You have Russian propaganda. You have North Korean propaganda, Chinese propaganda, and you do have United States propaganda. And many believe they were just called, Blue Shield, Act Blue. The Democrat Party is a big donor for the Democrat Party. It used to be there's campaign regulations on who could send you contributions. You can't just receive international contributions. As a U.S. politician, you can't receive money from other countries because they can meddle in our elections. And when they're sending money, especially online, there has to be security codes. You know, your 3-letter CRV code on the back of your card. Well, how about the Democrat Party was like, we don't care about the CV codes, just send the money. They got caught. So it seems to me, Chinese, Russia, all of them got together. It don't seem far-fetched from what I know about the Democrats. This is proof. All the people they let into the country through the app, right when they let them in through the app, they had an address which they sent them social security cards in which they was allowed to work, but they also was allowed to vote. See, it's against the law to vote if you're an illegal, right? But some states don't check for IDs, and then they show up with social security cards. Think about it. So you're telling me these people ain't for hire and selling this country out down the road, to China and all them who have tons of money to put 20 billion here, 20 billion there, 30 your campaign. Oh, Act Blue, yeah, we'll send the money. Because it's weird how a lot of what they do, the Democrat Party, it goes along with the World Trade Organization, the UN, everybody who's always against the US. A lot of what they do is right in line with them. Hamas, they bomb and kill all these Israeli kids, kidnap their kids, kidnap Americans. But somehow we want to feel sorry for Hamas. Like, these people are so out of touch.
Some of those tactics worked in the short run in the sense that they got part of where he wanted to go, because he got rid of some people, or he caused the fights he wanted, and went forward on his efforts to cut staff and money out of parts of the federal government. So they were kind of working. Well, now they're not working, which is why that boring agency story detail matters, because Elon Musk, with all of his money and power, storming to the cabinet meetings, his relationship with the president, he says, I want this one fellow at IRS, and they go, no, Elon. And he lost. And this also touches on the economic realm where these other Trump power players have the president's ear, because the president's worried about losing billions or trillions more in the markets. And for Trump, that's certainly a political problem, makes him look bad. It's also supposed to be a governing problem if he cares about people's well-being in the country. But for Elon Musk, it's actually something much more deeply personal. Because it's not just costing Elon Musk millions that the Trump trade war and other problems are dragging down the economy. It's not just costing Elon Musk $1 billion or even billions plural. You hear about a lot of billionaires. Most billionaires that we report on and mention, they don't have $10 billion, let alone 50.
This is their old line, trick and bait, that the Republicans are bought out and they're for the rich. We don't have millions. Well, we know 95% of all the rich people in the United States vote Democrat, 95%. It just so happened tides have turned when Elon Musk, who used to be a Democrat, Trump, who used to be a Democrat, right? They actually joined the Republican Party. So tides have turned when Elon Musk bought Twitter, where they used to, as they call it, fact check, meaning if they don't like your speech, if it's conservative, they fact check it as wrong, but let their side say anything right. That when you're fact checking, that is, let's limit free speech for conservative thoughts. That's what fact checking is. It's not. You don't need a fact checker. Free speech is for whatever you got to say. If you don't like what I say, let's debate. But they can't handle debate. It's like being in the oven. Like they can't handle the heat. They needed to be heat-free zone, safe space for them to say what they want to be said. But they don't realize people don't have to accept what you're saying. We can hear it, but because you give yourself a safe space to speak, we don't have to accept what you're hearing, what you're saying. That's the problem with the Democrats. They don't realize. There ain't no such thing as a safe space to speak. Everybody has a right to speak. And he's over here trying to paint Republicans as being for the rich and having all these rich people. It's just recently they got into the social site. But all that, Facebook was controlled by Democrats, Twitter, Democrats, all the social media sites, But now, see what it is? Now things are evening out. And like I said, they don't like heat next to them. They don't like competition. They like to kill off their competition. They like to make, and the problem is they're so hard on about Trump. They haven't figured out how to get out this hole or just come up with some ideas American people would like, because a lot of people like what Trump is doing. So how about you be for some of what he's doing? And then how about you come up with some new ideas of your own? But they haven't come up with nothing new other than he racist. He racist. I mean, that's they're activists turn
Right?
Right?
Let me tell you this
fact as we end the rough week, approaching 100 days.
Elon Musk
has now lost a staggering $122 billion.
Because Musk's
Musk's wealth is tied up in Tesla, which has been hammered for a bunch of reasons, along with the other companies that are crashing.
And its net
income plunged
more than half,
plunged 70%.
There's also evidence
Musk never thought it would get this bad for him, or cost him this.
Guys, don't buy that hype. Smart people, they're buying Tesla right now, because 6 months from now, it's gonna go up. Do you know anything about stocks? They go up, they go down, they go up. The smart people are buying now, and then when everybody's running to buy Tesla in 6 months, you know what the smart people are doing? They'll be selling
this much.
This is what Ivy League universities you can get in.
Plus GPAs get rejected from universities like Harvard, Stanford, and other top 10 universities. Your child needs. He's leaving not only with his reputation wounded, Axios now reports at the end of this tough week, but relationships severed, company in crisis, fortune diminished.
Now,
First of all, his fortune ain't diminished. He has took a little hit, but people like him, they short the market. What's that mean? They know they have assets. It's called leveraging your assets. And when the market is going down, you can either buy in gold or you can short. It's like making a bet that the market's going to go down. Or you could just leverage your money in gold. Like, these people got smart billionaires. This guy's all propaganda at this point. I'm going to leave it here. He doesn't seem to be doing nothing but running a typical public enemy. Trump. Elon Musk is public enemy number one. Propaganda campaign. Yo, this is the Political Decode channel. If you like the content I'm putting out on this channel, please like and subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000. With your help, we'll do it. And yo, this is only my third video with me on camera, so I'm working out the details with the camera. Next time, maybe I'll let them talk a little more. I don't normally do left-wing leaning reviews for this reason, because I can't sit there and just let somebody lie to me. But it is what it is. Y'all have a good day.